So I know you're familiar with this, but I'm just going to share a framework that we often use at Tillon. It's pretty research based, um, and it's really rooted in, it's been a fascination of mine, I think, as you well know, and I know it's a big passion of yours, is what are the elements that make teams perform really well? If we were going to create a list of predictive indicators to say, if we did this, and this, what are the things that reliably drive performance? And certainly based on kind of our own experience and research, there are five main areas if you want to split down a team that reliably drive a highly performant team. And so I'm just going to whiz through that, Jeremy, and then I've got a load of questions to ask you about these areas. And so the research that we've certainly come across would suggest these things, and you talked a bit about this already, but the first thing being the team's got to have a clear mandate. It's got to be highly aligned, not only at a team level in terms of what's the team existing for, what are the goals of that team, but also what's the strategy of that team to deliver. The next layer down are what are the individual roles and accountabilities within that team, and how is success being measured. That's all to do with what we'd call alignment, making sure that we're on the same page, we know why the team exists, we know what good looks like, and so we can therefore move together with a shared understanding. So alignment is one of the preconditions for performance. The next element is execution. That is different to alignment. I've seen plenty teams that have spent loads of time with a great kind of clear strategy decks and such like, but actually there's no follow through. Execution is a different muscle. And often that's to do with clarity about ways of working, defined processes, and clear accountability, and even potentially consequences, both positive and negative, for a lack of or a kind of overperformance relative to accountabilities. The next area is capacity, and capacity is largely about the ability of the individuals to do the roles and to do the tasks they've been charged with doing. It's both, have I got the skills, but also have we got the bandwidth to be able to sustain what it is that we're doing. And then finally, the last two things are slightly more interpersonal. There's one which is about communication effectiveness. So are we able to interpersonally ensure that every voice around the table is truly heard and valued? And finally, have we got trust, that kind of bedrock? And you talked quite a bit about that, and I'm keen to get into that more. Have we got working trust in the team, both in each other's integrity, but also trust that people will actually do what they said they were going to do? And there was a great bit of research by Google called Project Aristotle, which surveyed a big 2-year project, looked at all of the teams across Google, and it found the number one factor that determined overperformance in their teams was what they called psychological safety, which was effectively a combination in this framework here of communication and relationships or trust. That was the seedbed or the single biggest determiner of long-term performance in a team.